When your cat waits for you at the door or sits in silence until you return, do you actually know what that means? It looks like patience, maybe even habit. But behind that quiet waiting, there is something most people miss, something deeper than routine, deeper than attachment in the way we usually understand it. It is one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat condoned. If you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you might be missing the real message they have been trying to send. Every single day you are gonna. Let's start with what your cat waiting really means. Most people think when a cat waits for them, it is just about food timing or routine. You leave the house, you come back, and there they are in the same spot. It feels predictable, almost mechanical, but here is what is actually happening. Your cat is not tracking time the way you do. They are tracking presence. Not minutes, not hours. You behavioral researchers describe this as human-anchored anticipation pattern, where cats build emotional maps of their owner's movement, not schedule. So, when your cat sits by the door, it is not saying it is a certain time. It is saying you should be here. Think about that for a second. A study from the University of Lincoln found that cats form attachment styles with humans similar to infants and dogs. They do not just tolerate your absence, they actively reorganize behavior around your return. And here is the part most people miss: that waiting is not passive, it is emotional. Monitoring, a study from Oregon State University found that over 60% of cats show secure attachment behaviors toward their owners, similar to children with caregivers. Researchers placed cats in unfamiliar environments with and without their owners. The cats with secure attachment did not explore blindly. They paused, waited, watched the door, not because they were scared of the room, but because they were oriented toward you. When the owner returned, the cat's stress markers dropped significantly. Within minutes or so, your presence is not just comforting, it literally regulates their nervous system. What this means emotionally is simple but heavy. You are not just someone they live with, you are their baseline for safety, and that waiting is not boredom. It is emotional calibration. And by the way, if your cat ever follows you from room to room, do not brush it off. We will get to what that really means at the end. And it is something most owners wish they understood sooner. When your cat waits for you in a specific spot, your bed, your shoes, the doorway, you might think it is random, but here is what is actually happening. Cats have scent glands in their cheeks, paws, and forehead. Every time they sit near your belongings, they are not just resting, they are mixing their scent with yours. Animal behaviorists call this social scent bonding. It is how cats create shared identity. So, when your cat waits on your jacket or near your shoes, they are not just waiting for you to come back, they are making sure you still feel like home even while you are gone. What makes this even more meaningful is this: in the wild, shared scent equals shared survival group. It means you belong here with Mezzo. That quiet waiting is not empty, it is not passive, it is your cat saying without sound, this human is part of my safe world. No, before we keep going, if you are learning something new about your cat, hit like and subscribe. That helps us reach more cat owners who want to understand what their cat is really saying. Is what most people do not realize: that waiting behavior did not start with domestic cats. It started in survival. Wild kittens do not roam freely, they wait, they stay still. They monitor their mother leaves to hunt, and they wait for her return in silence. Becca's in nature, waiting equals safety, moving too much equals danger. So, when your cat waits for you, now that instinct is still there, but it has been redirected. You are now the returning figure. You are the one they orient their safety around the searchers describe. This as caregiver substitution imprinting, where domestic cats transfer early survival attachment patterns onto human caregivers. So, when your cat sits quietly waiting, they are not being idle. They are acting on ancient programming that once kept them alive. Now, instead of a den in the wild, your home is that demand. You are the returning presence. That defines safety itself. Here is something that changes everything. Cats do not wait like this for just anyone. They do not sit by the door for strangers. They do not track every person in the house. This way they choose. Cats form primary attachment figures, not groups, not crowds, individuals. So when your cat waits for you, it is not convenience. Sight is selection. In a house full of noise, movement, and other humans, they still anchor to your return. What this reveals is simple but powerful. You are not interchangeable in their emotional world, and that waiting behavior is one of the clearest signs of that. So the next time your cat is sitting silently in the same spot only for you, it is not habit, it is preference at the deepest level. They can express. Remember earlier when I said this behavior was not about time? This is what I was talking about. When your cat waits for you, they are not just passing time, they are regulating emotion through expectation. Waiting is vulnerable because it requires trust. That something will return. A study on feline stress behavior found that cats left in environments with predictable caregiver return showed significantly lower stress hormones than cats with inconsistent human interaction. So your return does not just make them happy, it stabilizes them. The quiet cat sitting by the door or the window or your bed is not being patient in a human sense. They are holding emotional space for you, and when you finally appear, it is not just excitement, it is really system coming back into balance. If your cat suddenly stops waiting, something has changed. It could be stress, illness, or anxiety. Cats do not always show problems loudly. Sometimes they show it by stopping patterns that once mattered. If your cat no longer greets you, no longer waits, no longer tracks your return, do not ignore it. It is not independent. Sight is a signal. Even subtle changes in waiting behavior can reflect emotional or physical distress. So if that silence appears where waiting used to be, pay attention. Becky's absence of behavior is still communication. So when your cat waits for you at the door or the window or the quiet corner, they always choose. Do you actually understand what that means? It is not routine, it is not boredom, it is not just habit. That waiting is your cat organizing their sense of safety around you returning. That is not patience. See, that is trust shaped by instinct, memory, and attachment all at once. See, that is not just a cat waiting, that is a living system holding space for you, because you are part of what makes their world feel stable. And that quiet waiting was never small to the man. It should not be small to you either.